If there were two gentlemen sitting, one in the back and one up here in the front, who looked of a nationality difference than what we normally see in this room, we would all be very concerned if they were carrying in some large box-like bag like that. Okay. So let's have the standard, and let's enforce the standard. And we can do that. I don't think any big problem with that.
I, for one, pardon me, am not going to be racially objective.
Commissioner Hare, Commissioner Hare was speaking.
It's amazing to me how election periods bring out vociferous objections. But anyway, that's fine. If you want to attribute that to some racial remark, that's fine. Go for it. You can live with it. That's ridiculous, but that's okay. The point being is that we know Mr. Matthews is not perceived as a threat. As far as I'm concerned, it's not perceived as a threat. But yet, on the other hand, there needs to be some enforcement of these ordinances across the board. Okay, so I don't know what the big problem is. Nobody's restricting anybody's recording, audio recording or videoing. Nobody's restricting that at all. You're more than free to do that. It's just the idea that for the sake of the comfort zone, so to speak, of both people being able to sit at ease and or move down the aisles, that there are certain restrictions. You want video cameras, they go on the side. They don't have the tripods sitting up in front of people on the seat. That's all the purpose of that. So if the difficulty is we have somebody who wants to push the law, and this is the struggle, the written law. You and I know both. You can pass, don't do this, period. And there's going to be 500 applications of what that means. And that's part of the difficulty we have, because common sense is sort of petering out and disappearing. But I don't think there's anybody who has any question about what the purpose of that is, or the implication of that is, or what that means. But okay, so the individual is sitting there, and he can care less what you and I have to think. So okay, now we come down to the push comes to shove. I mean, do we push it further? Do we not push it further? I don't know. There's not an easy answer. I mean, 150 years ago, these questions were solved rather simply, but they're not solved simply today.
Commissioner Hare?
So, as I understood the comment, something to the effect of establishing a policy based on the propensity that there's a chance that someone of a different nationality could come in here with a box, and that would be questionable to some. I, for one, am going to go based on the policy of our county. We're not going to base things based on race, sex, nationality, or creed. I don't establish policies that way. That's not something I'm going to work on. Regardless of whether or not I'm in an election season or not, it will transcend time. But that's not how I am going to operate or establish policies. True, they need to transcend the party's play right now, for sure. I think that I have always tried to manage as chair when I was, regardless of who's talking, what their opinion is. Everybody gets 3 minutes, blah, blah, blah. But it had nothing to do with race as being a possible factor at any point in time. That's just not what we're basing it on. What's in that box? Absolutely. But if we're going to do that, I need to see what it's in everybody's purse.